about every single action that I will ever do for the 50 years of my life. And you think about, you can get overwhelmed by that. But the idea is that you are in this situation because of your past karma, because of your past actions. And in this situation right now, you can develop the causes and conditions. We talked last week or 2 weeks ago was Paticca Samuppada, right? When this arises, that arises. When this ceases, that ceases. Right? In this sutta, what do we see? Oh, bad, unskillful conduct arises. Bad destination arises. That's how it works. Unskillful conduct goes away. Bad destinations go away. So when you kind of understand like how this system works, then you understand, oh, I have nobody to blame but myself, and that's wonderful. That means I can get to work. That means that I can actually put in the work that will change not only this life, but my whole trajectory of samsaric existence. Right? That is so empowering, so wonderful. If everything is because of external force, what happens? You can't do anything about it. I mean, of course, even we Buddhists, we understand things happen. We don't necessarily can do anything about it except for our reaction. We can choose. That's how we create the karma. Karma is action. What is your action right now that you are responding, that you are going to do to respond to this situation? And if you're responding, even if it's a horrible situation, if you're responding in a skillful way, wonderful. Right there, one of my favorite suttas when it comes to karma, the Buddha says there's 4 kinds of persons. There's a person born in darkness and heading towards darkness, a person born in darkness heading towards light, a person born in light heading towards darkness, a person born in light heading towards light. And the Buddha explains, well, what's born in darkness? All the bad cards, everything we saw in the sutta. You're born sickly, deformed, ugly, to bad parents, to bad environments, like everything bad that can happen to you, that's born in darkness. What's born in the light? The total opposite. You're born rich and perfect health and great parents and great, everything good that can happen to you happens to you, right? So that's the starting point. But the more important thing, especially when we're talking about karma, is where are you heading? Are you heading towards darkness? The Buddha describes this as all unskillful actions, killing living beings, sexual misconduct, cheating, lying, all of that kind of stuff. Or are you heading towards the light, which is sila, good, skillful actions? So this is, in my opinion, this small sutta is so important for people to understand the right mindset when it comes to karma. Right? Wherever you are right now, whatever happens to you right now, how do you choose to engage with that situation and react in that situation so that you create karma that will result in good vipaka, good fruit in the future? And so that's the most important thing. The Buddha wants us to remember every day, I am the owner of my actions. I create my own suffering, and I can put in the work. I can create the causes and conditions that lead to the ending of that suffering. I'll leave the rest for all the other ones.
That is actually a very interesting point that you have brought up, Venerable Jayasara. And I think that's the very reason why at the end I kind of put that graphic picture of be mindful of what we are doing, and even your reference to that sutta, 4 types of individuals, the people that we see living in the darkness, heading to the darkness, and so forth. and everything is based on, of course, the actions, the karma. And now, rather than taking the or putting the blames on someone else and taking the responsibility for our own action is the key thing. I think if we can do that, we can transform our life, right? So this is one of the key insights that we are learning from this sutta, that you saw. That is very interesting. Next, I see Venerable Shanta Sobana from Los Angeles. So, Venerable Shanta Sobana, and of course, today you also went to a kind of interfaith a program at a church. I watched that. Very impressive. Thank you for sharing your perspective. So, what do you think of this sutta, and how can we apply this into day-to-day life?
Thank you very much, Venerable Sirs, with my heartiest respect to all. And actually, I really thank you, Venerable Saranapala, that you bringing this kind of sutras to conversation, because when it comes to the Buddhism, it is very important that we always merge with the sutras and learn from it and apply it to our day-to-day life. So actually, when it comes to this Ulakam Vibhanga Sutta, this Buddha uttered to a very young, handsome guy called Subha. Yeah. So he was the son of the most well-known, the mighty person called Todeya. The most of people in whoever read the Buddhist Tripitaka and literature, most of people know about this character. He was a very interesting character, and he was always arguing with the Buddha, criticized Buddha, and he was a very wealthy man. So what happened? He directed, and he was always arguing with the Buddha, criticized Buddha, and he was a very wealthy man. So what happened? He died, and after that, his son start to overtake his wealth. So when Subha had a very luxurious life, and what happened after he died? After a few days, he died, and then there was a little puppy that came to his place. So he used to be very attached to this little dog. So Buddha was waiting for the right time to address the Subha. And then he knew the time, and then that day Buddha came to his palace, and he was not there. But this dog started to keep barking towards the Buddha. Then the Buddha addressed by the name of Todeya, his father's name. All the servant people looked this and heard it, and they were shocked. And when the Subha came to the palace, and everybody complained, "Oh, look, Buddha came, and see what he did." And it's kind of like a criticize his father. And he got so mad, and he went to the Buddha. And he went to the Buddha in the some commentaries it's saying he had some kind of advice from other religious leaders, and go to the Buddha, go and argue with him. Because during that time, arguing with the Buddha, debating with the Buddha was a kind of like a very, very interesting thing. Everybody appreciate that if anybody can go and defeat him. So somehow the Subha had the kind of like a background support, and he went there and he started to ask these questions. That's where the Buddha started to explain this. So actually, when it comes to the Buddha Asteria about the karma, Buddha is the only one during that time tackled this problem. Because otherwise, no any other religious leader able to clarify regarding the nature of the karma. Everybody was afraid regarding it. And even today, there are a lot of people, even in the Western world, and they got this word from the Sanskrit and Pali language. And somehow, in the Western world, the karma is one of the word the mostly people misunderstood. So it is not just a kind of like a punishment. This is what we need to understand. So when it comes to the life, most of people think the life itself like a punishment. No. In Buddhism, the human life is the the one of the best place that we can have, and this is the place that we can transform to more better place. And even this is the place that we have opportunity to attain to the Nibbana. So in Buddhism, highly appreciate the human life. And when it comes to karma, that it is just not only the karma is related to our life. Actually, in according to the Panchanyama Dharma, or the five natural laws and natural occurrence and phenomena in the universe, there are five things. So one of the basic principle we have to understand in Buddhism, that it never say even the physical or mental, any law or any kind of qualities exist itself and bring the result itself. It's always kind of like a combination. So that's why deeply, if anybody want to understand the karma, just looking at the karma, they cannot understand it. To understand the karma, they have to go through another way. That way is the cause and conditions, causality. If anybody know the very principle of the cause and conditions, to understand that, the Buddha explained the karma. So otherwise, there is no something called karma that come behind us. It's the very nature of action, reaction, result. So, and other thing is, it is just not tuniyama, physical order, and the bija niyama, that the biological process, and then the kamma niyama, moral order, and the dhamma niyama, that order of the nature, and the chitta niyama, psychological order. See, this everything come together when it come to our life, and when we want to analyze any situation, we have to go through this all the five, and finally the kamma niyama. So the kamma niyama here is apply when it come to not the action. This is very important, because we have bodily action, verbal action, mental action. The kamma intention. So the intention is not the action. Action is far away from the intention. There are a lot of people doesn't know what is intention. Sometimes they just keep doing it. So that's why in the vipassana we go the introspection and try to understand the very deeper fundamental, the nature of the phenomena or the mind. So the action and the intention is like this. So action is like a box. So this box is a kind of like a, there's no life, and it cannot think, it cannot take decisions. So it is a very material thing. But just imagine, in case inside this box, one can see the very nature of the cat just looking at the box. Because the cat has a consciousness. Cat is a living being. It has a completely different nature than the box. So this is what the Buddha mentioned when it comes to action and the intention. So here karma means we have to go into the intention, not just stop by on the surface level of the action. So when it comes to intention, that desire govern the intention. So that desire is come with the self. So the self, if the related with the egocentric self-centered idea and the lust, and with that, if the cravingness or aversion or ignorance influence the desire to make an action, that action bring the karma. Not all the action, because all the enlightened masters do the actions, but they never make any kind of karma. No? So that is why just doing action is not a karma.
Mm.
And other thing is, when it comes to the law and order, that healthy, that whatever the action possible for that.
Mm.
You know, so that is where we have to see really what is the very core essence of the karma. And another thing is, when it comes to the eightfold path, we talk about all the right things. So what is the meaning of this right? When we go to the analytical explanation of the meaning of the right mean here, if we have the intention without the craving, aversion, or the delusion, that action is a right action. See that how it connected to the karma. So that's why it's always we have to remember we all have an opportunity to go into the intention and look into it. So that is why we need the awareness. So whatever we have, and there is a sutta called Navapurana Karma Sutta. So according to that sutta, so whatever happened in our past, of course, there is a reason for that. But today, that doesn't mean you are not bound to that whatever happened in the past. So as a human being, you have this present moment and you have the awareness. You are capable to take a very conscious decision. So then always you have the opportunity to change. Then another sutta is Lona Phala Sutta. So whatever the karma we have done, it doesn't matter it is a negative karma, then we have opportunity to increase the power of the positivity and do a more better, higher, strong, good action that has the ability to overtake the minor level of action, the karma. So, and at the same time, it doesn't matter how good we used to live in the past, whatever the profitable action or the merits we has done, but today if we do a demerit action stronger than that, so then it's going to overtake this demerit action. So that means we as human beings, we are no need to depend on what happened in the past. It is very important in the moment, whatever the conscious decision we make, going to change our future. So that conscious decision, if it is not bound to or related to or not biased to greed, hatred, or the delusion, so we are capable to create a very new path for our life. So we all have that opportunity. But the problem is this, why we cannot do this? Because we are so addicted to just repeat our inner thoughts rather than recognizing it. So that's why in meditation we try to help people to calm down first and have the tranquility mind. And once the mind tranquilizes and observe it and see how the pattern happening inside and create a new pattern. So once you have that wisdom for yourself, and then you are capable
It's a
to
biweekly discussion with other monastic scholars.
Radha
I'll be
Sutta, in the
contributing here
Radha
shortly.
Sutta, Buddha very beautifully explained what is life means. So what is life mean? What we experience through our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So when the person able to change the conscious decision, change whatever the person watch, change whatever the person hear, change whatever the person smell, eat, and experience, that means whoever associate, and whatever we think, if the person change that, from that point, his or her life going to change. There is no way something else going to overcome and or hold it. So that's why we all have an opportunity to change according to whatever the way we want. There is no such a direction or it going to go this way. The very basic principle recently came with this, the Nobel Prize. This quantum, the mechanism. So they found out that in the quantum physics, there is no such a place this electron, neutron, proton settle down. they always moving, and there is no such a place called direction. It's always moving to any place at any time. So the same principle when it come to our encounter, any place or any believing system or any following system. So you have a very opportunity to find that whatever you want. That is where it connected to the free will. Otherwise, there is no precondition free will in Buddhism. That's why we all have opportunity to attain to the Nibbana. So what is the free will mean? Rather than going behind your previous habitual patterns, if you are capable to take a conscious decision, go towards the wisdom, then you are capable to gain it. So in that way, we all have an opportunity. It's a golden opportunity to take a step forward and find your liberation.
Yeah. I think that's a very important aspect that you have pointed out, the key essence of this discourse. And as you said, of course, the intention, even in today's justice system, legal system, when somebody is going to something, when in the court, judge especially tries to hear whether this action was done intentionally or not.
That's right. That's
right?
right.
So then if it is done intentionally, then then there will be repercussions for that. So I think that everything is not karma, right? That's what they said. Karma is just part of it. So thank you for emphasizing on that. And also I would like to remind the audience, if you have any questions, please write comment or write it. I will check the comments on both YouTube and Facebook, and I will take your questions if I see any. So next, now I see also the most venerable Bhante Nanda is also here from Long Island, New York, and welcome to this discussion, Bhante. And also I see another monk. Welcome to this discussion, Bhante. And also I see another monk, Venerable Ananda, Devagiri Ananda. I don't know where you're from. And then I don't know whether I acknowledge Venerable Vasubandhu from Arizona at the beginning, and then you're also here. So thank you for being for this discussion. Next, I see Venerable Tridao, who raised his hand to contribute or share some insights with the audience. So what's in your mind, Venerable Tridao?
Namo Sankhaya. To all of the venerable and most venerable present here today. It is with great joy to see all of you. It is a great joy to discuss today's very important sutta. I'd like to dedicate my contribution of knowledge today to Vasubandhu, whom I think that is a very duly deserving young monk, a rising star in the Buddhist world. He makes all of us look really good. He makes Buddhism look really good under the branch of Buddhism. And it is with great joy as good under the branch of Buddhism. And it is with great joy as I sit here and reflect all of the good work that most venerable Sarnapala and Vasu has been doing. It is so visible. It is so inspiring to see both of you with lawmakers, with mayors, spreading Buddhism, the message of peace, happiness, compassion, and deep understanding in an ever-changing, volatile world. As a direct result of Vasu's more noticeable continuing presence in the world, he did not exempt praise or blame this week. And this week we both had to discuss how we're going to respond carefully in accordance to the teachings of karma. Vasu's partner is on becoming a lawyer, if not a lawyer himself, and myself in the area of law for 19 years. I had to really think how we're going to respond to how young monks are being attacked, how young monks don't exempt praise or blame in accordance to the 8 worldly winds. And I told Vasu privately over the phone, I said, the best way to respond is to let the rotten fruit fall on its own on the tree. We don't really have to do much. Keep doing what you're doing, the great work that you're doing, and just watch how your karma flourish and unfold right before you. Sometimes I think Vasu in his last life was a monk. Hard to believe a good looking young monk like Vasu, with all of the worldly pleasure of enjoyment that you can go out and do on your own, that you have dedicated your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of other people. Um, Vasu's been a monk for quite some time, coming on 7 years, I believe. And for young monks, the question we ask ourselves is, what makes us holy? What makes us a monk? As that is key central to our identity. We try not to cling on to anything. Our job is to actually unbecome and not to become. We don't want to become senators. We don't want to become we don't want to become anything. We just want to do our 8 and hit the gate towards the door of nirvana. What defines us as monks and what defines us as holy men, young men, is the work that we do, and that the pure intention behind the work that we do. The spreading of peace, joy, and happiness in other people, and to see how our world changes per individual that we encounter. We don't do it for fame, glory, or being famous. It's not it's not really all that, you know. When I was with Vasu in Arizona, wearing all orange, it's a big target. Wearing all orange, getting ready to speak on immigration bill, and there were moments in my life where I reflected that I could be shot right now in this moment, looking around, and for some reason every other event's really big and there's police everywhere. For some reason, some of the events we go to, it's a very high stake with lawmakers everywhere, and I only see, wow, there's times where I think that danger is real and present. It is moments like this that I reflect on karma. If karma wants me, it would have me right now. It would have me right now in front with Vasu. But it's not my time and it's not our time. Death can seize any of us in any moment. We don't have to stand with lawmakers in Arizona to ask for death to come. We can trip and fall. We can have an instant heart attack right now. You can just have a heart attack right now watching this. People mistaken death meditation, mistaken how death can seize us. That brings wise fear into Southeast Asians, Vietnamese people. I would hope that people have reflected deeply on the people of Vietnam, how Vietnam is rising as leading manufacturers and leading economic advancements and all these great things. So clearly there's smart people, and clearly they're doing what they got to do to make it work and rebuild after the Vietnam War at a very high rate of speed. What is striking to me is how Vietnamese people deeply respect karma. Growing up, I didn't know the workings of karma. Growing up, I said foolish things, I did foolish things, and I was corrected by senior people, and they said, don't you say that. Don't you make fun of that girl. Don't you make fun of that boy. You make fun of that boy, your next life, you're going to look exactly like them. Be careful what you say in the descriptions that you use. So I grew up with that type of fear. And, Vietnamese elders are quite serious when they say things. They go and they make merits, they make dana to the monastery often. They have this deep conviction, unshakable deep conviction for respect of karma, also known as Nhân Quả, cause and effect, Nhân Quả. And it ingrained into our culture so deeply into our blood and veins that it is a living continuity of the generations thereafter in Buddhism. Likewise, we've also borrowed a lot of philosophy in the art of Chinese facial readings. And, everyone notices beauty. I think beauty is visible in humans. And this have been uttered around the Vietnamese culture that, wow, look how beautiful she is. Look how beautiful he is. Tại vì nó tu trong cái kiếp trước của nó, because they have changed in their previous life, a commitment to change. And that's what renunciation means. That you see the flaws in you, the faults in you, the faults in your stars, and that you want to change. And so, words like it, they get around for decades. And so we too humbly look at ourselves, where we're at, whether we're beautiful or not, internally or externally, intrinsic or extrinsic. And we always have that word inside of our mind, a dedication to renounce and to give up and to be in the monastery often and to be with the wise. So it just aligns with the sutta in details of what we're studying today. And today I just wanted to let you all see what I have seen before I was made aware, becoming a monk, of what culturally Vietnamese people and Laos people and Thai people and Cambodian people have been practicing, is practicing today, and will continue to practice nonstop because they have such wise fear for karma. And people in the West obviously see the effects of instant karma. And now with the closed circuit television, we see there was a guy that tried to rob a woman. So he ran up to her, grabbed her purse, ran away, got struck by lightning once. And I think he tried to like roll around, Twitter a little bit, and got hit. And I think he tried to like roll around, Twitter a little bit, and got hit by lightning twice. That is undeniable empirical evidence of instant karma, right? And so we have people in the West, notwithstanding people from the East, yeah, clearly, but people from the West are now raising their eyebrows at, okay, maybe I shouldn't steal from people. Yeah, maybe I should do nice things to see what's happening. This was a talk amongst my students a couple of days ago when they asked me about karma. And I said, well, you don't really got to go into these suttas. Let me just ask you all this. Have you ever stolen something? I mean, I have. I mean, in my younger days, and we all have stole a piece of candy, stole something from we just like the thrill of getting away, of stealing something. Or we justify that with a lawyer in our head that, I deserve this or something. Have something ever gone missing, magically gone missing in your room as a direct result of that action? And everyone can kind of, yeah, it has. So clearly you see cause and effect. It works. Yeah, it has. So clearly you see cause and effect. It works. Karma never forgets an address. It never does. So my ending contribution today for Vastu is we don't have to really worry much. I think most senior teachers across the world have gone through the 8 worldly winds. That's why they're very wise and we look up to them. And if you ever sat with some of these senior teachers, they would tell you that, karma never forgets an address. And the reminder to always continue doing the good work and create more good karma. And we experience these things for us as a direct result of what we did in this lifetime, or perhaps previous lifetimes, that we may have said bad things to other people. So it comes back around in this time. And now we have to pay our debts. And so it's something that I embrace with you, the congregation of young monks, surviving the 21st century, trying to do our best, trying to dedicate our lives, and absorbing the bows and arrows along the way. I'd like to give the floor back to the monastic order. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry for taking so much time in explaining.
Thank you very much, Rajal. I think the key point, karma never forgets your address. So I think that's a very important saying, and we should be mindful of that. If we become mindful of that, karma never forgets an address, and so that means whatever we do now will have repercussions. There will be vipakas, the consequences. So thank you so much for sharing your insights, and also thank you for talking about Venerable Vasubandhu from Phoenix. I know I see some of your activities. You're doing great. You're actively involved with the interfaith dialogues and bringing Buddha Dharma to the various interfaith groups. So just keep up that good work. So is there anything you would like to share with us regarding the karma, this sutra, Venerable Vasubandhu?
Thank you so much, Bante Saranapala. Thank you so much, Venerable Tridao. Each of you, Vernables. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to having this conversation together, because I can recognize the beauty of our perspectives, our experiences of life and practice. I also recognize our multi-generational conversations that we are having, also very specific experiences, because our generations, also because our culture, our multicultural to this community. This is something that for me means a lot, to recognize these multi-expressions of experiences. And I appreciate that today we are reflecting of karma, because for me as a Mexican American Buddhist in the United States, as an immigrant, I have experienced specific situations in my life that have determined my interpretation and my practice of what does it mean for me, specifically karma. And I really appreciate what you mentioned, Venerable Santa Sobana, about the conditions. And also I appreciate that we are having this interconnection with the intention and action. That was a beautiful example, Venerable Santa Sobana, of the box and the cat inside the box. So for me, it's a interconnection of multiplicity of consequences, of situations and conditions. I have seen that in my own life. When Venerable Tridao was speaking about these experiences that we have had recently, it's also for me a reflection on how I want to respond, how I want to live and to act in my present, to continue with karma. So for me, is karma a opportunity to reflect on myself, to take actions of my present, to look forward for my future, and to take this in my own life. Thank you so much, Venerable Bante Saranapala.
Thank you, Venerable Vasubandhu, for sharing your insights. And I'm very happy to hear that you're Mexican American. And we and of course we all are fully aware of what's going on in the southern border and the northern border. You know, with the huge political heat is coming up. I think they're trying to diffuse the tension with the tariffs being imposed on the on neighboring countries. So we are praying for everyone that nobody would get affected by this new tariff war. So I don't see any other available. Som Wangsha, I saw you raised your hand. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
Yes, dear Venerable Sirs and Dhamma friends. I think can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then today we were talking about beautiful topic named karma. Karma is one of the teaching of Buddha, main teachings. According to my experience, normally I used to go to a funeral and search the environment of the dead person. Then some of them I could find there were some bad effect has come. There was a person who was practicing catching fish. Then eventually he was sick. He had a cancer. He had a cancer in his throat. Then he used to do that bad action. He had this reaction like that. So there were so many stories are there about the karma. Then karma, as Venerable explained before, some people talk about the karma the the topic karma. Some of the karma we can change, but some of karmic volitional actions we cannot change because the effect is so powerful. That is why we cannot prevent some of the karma. Then we can practice this karma in this way. Karma is impermanence. It is also one of the nature, a part of nature. So we can practice karma is also changing. Sometimes we have to face good consequences, bad consequences. So we also can practice about the impermanence, thinking about the karma, volitional actions that we have done in previous. So then this word impermanence, we call it changing, constantly changing. We can see this impermanence as a beautiful word. If everything is permanent, we cannot see beautiful word like this. We cannot see beautiful flowers and things. Everything is constantly change. So we can practice this. This is everything is impermanence. That is why we can see everything beautiful. That's why Buddha advises us to live, be in this moment, thinking about these things. Don't be in the past or future, because all the time when we are in future or past. So practice to be in this moment and face to the karma, whatever it is. That is my opinion, Venerable Sir. Thank you so much.
That's a great insight you have shared with us. Of course, everything is impermanent, right? Even karma itself is impermanent. But there will be everything is changing because it's also based on certain causes and conditions. When causes and conditions change, and then of course the vipaka will change too. So thank you so much for emphasizing on this aspect of the teaching, Venerable Songwangsa. Next, I see here's I know Venerable Shantasobana raised his hand. And I'm just wondering, just hold on to your thought, Venerable Shantasobana. I'm just wondering whether the most Venerable Nanda, Bhante Nanda would have anything to share with us.
Thank you very much, Venerable Sirs. It's a vast and huge topic.
Yeah.
You know, it is when we start when we start somewhere, how it continues, and it's a big, huge. So anyway, I think you have heard, most of you have heard about the book, Many Lives and Many Masters.
Yeah.
From Brian L. Wells.
Mm-hmm.
That nearby in New York, the next state from New York. The true story of a prominent psychiatric, his young patient and past life therapy that changed both their lives. So this is, I don't know whether you can see.
Oh yeah, we can see now. Yeah, it's
so. So you can check it.
Yeah.
Many lives and many masters.
Mm-hmm.
When we discuss this matter, the Buddhist point of view, there's so many things. So when doctors, medical doctors' point of view, and as like psychiatric, something like that, how the connection comes, it is very important. And scientifically, how does he prove the effect of past karma? That is very important. I'm not going to explain what the book included. You can read it. The book is Many Lives and Many Masters.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bhante Nanda, for bringing up that. Actually, that's a pretty interesting book. I have read it, and it basically explains various aspects of the karma and what happens in the journey of samsara. And there are some inspiring stories. I highly recommend people to read that book. So next, I see Venerable Shanta Sobana, you raised hand. You want to share something, and also there is a question asked by Dharmic who is watching this program on YouTube. Dharmika asked this question: what is the effect of thoughts while people are dying or committing suicide? What is the effect of thoughts while people are dying or committing suicide? Venerable Shanta Sobana, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question because when it comes to our mind, is sometimes our mind can destroy our own life. It kind of like a mind has ability to subattach.
Mm.
So when it comes to the Abhidhamma, the mind is not the brain.
Yeah.
The mind is happen with the blood, related to the heart and the blood.
Mm.
So, and the intention is related to the heart, and the consciousness related to the blood. It's not to the brain. So when the blood go kind of like when the blood pattern start to create something different, what happened? It will start to affect for our entire body and mind.
Mm.
So that's why the thoughts are very important. As most of you know, when we practice loving kindness meditation, so it helps us to reduce a lot of that anxiety, depression, and at the same time, but a lot of the physical conditions.
Mm.
So anger, hatred, jealousy, it's always increase the power of the heat. According to the Ayurveda, the three dosa, the Vata, Pitta, Sema, so air, bile, flame, is related to the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So that all related to the intention. And when the person have this kind of desire base demerits or the improfitable intention, so what happens? It is start to create a certain kind of the environment in his mind that create kind of like a make it dark.
Mm.
So in that way, that person anymore cannot recognize the wrong things as wrong. So and then it again and again take to the kind of like wrong actions. So it's like a fish caught into the net. So and when without knowing that it is a net and caught into it, and if the fish start to struggle, what happening? It get tangled again and again and again. So same thing happened. So if anybody, that's why the very best healing, as you know, even in the Western pharmaceutical industry, one of the best medicine related to placebo effect. So placebo effect is kind of like no any the chemical there, but it kind of like reverse the mental pattern. So the very good healing method is having good thoughts. So once the person able to develop the good thoughts, and it go and affect to the blood, because that whatever we absorb according to this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind as perception, what happened? It has absorbed according to this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind as perception. What happened? It has ability to change the DNA, or it has ability to change the blueprint of the blood. In Ayurveda, it mentioned that whatever the satisfaction we take, rasa, rakta, asti, madhya, meda, dhatu. So that's mean whatever we absorb from outside and gain a satisfaction through it, it has ability to reform the nature of the blood.
Mm.
So, and once the blood become strong, so then it affect for the person physicality, And once the physical condition become good, then again it funding to the mental condition. So it's like interconnected body and mind. But basically need to understand that all the thoughts has greater ability to affect for your blood. So when it come to our human body, that is the blueprint. So then anybody want to get healed, or if anybody want to recover from any physical things, or any person want to change that any physical that the difficulty, one of the way, it is not the only way, it is one of the way. So one of the major important thing is to take care your thoughts. So otherwise, the most of time, if you have the disturbed thoughts and fearful and unrest thoughts, that has ability to take us to another level.
And also, Venerable Shantasovana, now when people dying, and like how even in the Abhidharma they emphasize a lot about the Chuti Chitta and Patisandhi Chitta.
Yes.
So they believe that everything next, whatever is going to happen in next life or in the future,
yes,
depends on what kind of consciousness you have.
Actually, it is very good question, Venerable Sir. Thank you for asking it. When we die, that whatever the thoughts not going to take us to the next level. So when we die, what happened? That your last consciousness or your last thought is going to be there. But what happened is the greed or the lust start to come up and overtake that moment. So if that is the important thing. So the greed is maybe hiding, the lust is maybe hiding, but at the last moment, what happened? That whatever we have, any thought on the surface level, the greed going to come and overtake. So that's why the lust is the very key point in day-to-day life. That's why we always perform dana and practice generosity to reduce the power of the lust, the greed. So otherwise, the greed is the one who take us to other place. So the thing is, if becoming happen, then according to the as we may talk at the previous discussion regarding this cause and conditions. So important thing is here that avidya means the ignorance related to the self-centered mind. So the self-centered mind means I am come with the misunderstanding regarding that what we experience around us. So that misunderstanding happens because of we have deeper attachment to our own self-centered idea. So that attachment come out of the desire. Desire means the lust. So that's why if anybody before person die, if anybody reduce the power of the lust, then what happens? Then when the person going to die, in that very moment, that person's awareness going to become sharp and clear. But at the last moment of the person, the lust, if the lust is strong, what happens? The lust start to come and overtake. It's like this, okay? If I give an example, so just imagine there is a fire, and then what we do, we call 911 here in America. So then the fire department come. Once the fire department come, even though it is my property, I am not allowed to do anything. So what the fire department say is stay away, let us handle this. So just imagine if we go to the emergency room, once we register there, doctors going to take it hand. We cannot do anything. We cannot tell, oh, don't touch here, don't touch there, or don't do this. No. They're not going to listen to that. They're going to do whatever the necessary things. So the same like when we ready to die, what happens? The lust going to come and overtake the situation, lust going to handle it. So if the person, before the person die, if we have, So if the person, before the person die, if we have the ability to reduce the power of the lust. So if just imagine while we're living, and if we have a very good life and reducing the lust, and then when we're ready to die, if there is no lust, we are capable to keep our mind clear. So actually, I want to mention here in Buddhism not to talk about the karma. That is not the very foundation. Buddha's, the very key foundation is the Nibbana.
Yeah.
It's related to the wisdom. See, all the teaching leads to the wisdom. The karma here talk about, especially to get into a human life and have a longevity here. So that longevity is not related to enjoy and having fun and doing things the way we want. No. When we have a long life with the good facilities here, we are capable to listen to Dhamma and practice it and reduce the lust inside us and develop the wisdom. That's what we should get out of this. The karma is, because otherwise the karma, no way, the good karma can take us to Nibbana. The wisdom take us to Nibbana. That is my logical argument. So then, when we develop the wisdom, for that we need the longevity, good life. So if we have done the good karma, it will facilitate us healthy, good, comfortable life. So then rather than enjoying it and keep doing it or repeating it, we have to be enough wise to understand and get the opportunity and develop our wisdom and reduce the power of the lust and increase the power of the wisdom. So in that way, that is what out of all the meditation we try to do.
Of course, the people tend to do the negative activities, negative things due to ignorance, right? So
that's right.
Avijja.
Yes.
So to make a huge transition or to shift our attention to the positive, then we have to be mindful for the fact that, and of course, all my actions, like whatever we are doing right now, we could be monks, we could be lay people. It doesn't matter who we are, what we do. But when we do something, we have to do a personal reflection. Is my action rooted in ignorance or wisdom? So if we do something rooted in ignorance, then there is a possibility of doing so many negative things. So that's why we need to cultivate wisdom, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. That's why in the Buddhism it say first in the beginning we have to have Sutame Jnana, Chintame Jnana, Bhavaname Jnana. As ordinary people, that's why we learn and we trying to become more better people rather than repeating that whatever we have or whatever we want. So when we want to become more better people, we cannot keep repeating the same thing. So then we have to look around and see what is the world and how things are happening and how the people do things. So in that way, in the very beginning, we need to look around and see without becoming biased to our own inner emotions. So other thing is that, of course, when we have that ignorance rooted the desire, sometimes it makes us blind and we think that is the right thing. But important thing is, if anybody, this is the thing, if anybody go through pain, disappointment, unsatisfaction, anxiety, depression, failure, fear, so then person need to understand, so whatever that he has done or she has done doesn't work anymore. So they need to be open and willing to change that whatever their own intention. So because I cannot justify myself, I am doing right if I go through the pain or difficulty or the failure. So then I have to listen to somebody. So that's why most the best, all the in sport field, most of the best people came because they had a good coach
Mm.
Because the coach has ability to see most of the blind spots that we can't see ourselves.
Mm.
So Dhamma is our coach.
Ah.
So then, if the person willing to take the lessons from the Dhamma, then you can become a best performer. You can become a champion.
Mm.
But most of the time, what happens that we don't want to get that. We think, oh, I know, let me do it. But if I go through difficulties, failures, and if I don't get result, then I have to be honest to myself and recognize there is something wrong with me. Whatever I keep doing. So from that point, if I want to become a better person, if I want to grow myself, or if I am willing to learn something, then be open. Look around and look how other people do it. And then start to get a lesson. Be humble.
Yeah.
So that is why the power of egocentric mind is when the ignorance is back up to ego, it's going to be so hard. That is why the ignorance is so strong.
Mm.
But still, it is still possible to reduce the power of it once we have the awareness and look into ourselves and see, evaluate ourselves and see what happened to me out of my own decisions.
Mm. I think this is also in connection with the previous discussion we had on the Paticca Samuppada, right?
Yes.
Buddha clearly mentioned, like after becoming the Buddha, he was reflecting on his deep teaching, avijja, paccaya, sankhara. All the formations come into being because of the avijja, ignorance. So
Yes.
we are practicing the dharma to remove this avijja, this ignorance, to cultivate the wisdom, the panya, and of course in day-to-day life, I say we see people, human beings, after all, the human beings, and people are acting rooted in the self-centeredness. When people become emotional, and there's nothing that they can do, and so the emotion, like even I think the very reason for observing the 5 precepts, refraining from taking life, sexual misconduct, lying, alcohol, and drugs, and all these negative actions are rooted in, like if you observe, reflect, contemplate mindfully, then you begin to see all these negative actions are based on particular negative emotion. It could be, of course, ignorance, anger, hatred, jealousy, greed, craving, desire, wanting, and then we simply act without looking at the end consequence. I think that's a very reason why Buddha emphasized to his son, Venerable Rahula, right? Always look at the consequences.
That's right. Yes.
Right? So I think with this in mind now, I would like to bring that book. I think it's a very powerful book that Venerable Bhante Nanda pointed out. I think I will like our audience to read this book. Many lives, many masters. A true story of a prominent psychiatrist, his young patient, and the past life therapy that changed both their lives. This is not about promoting a particular book, I think, but this has a lot of truths behind what we are discussing today. And then next, I would like all of you to take a look at this picture. The 2 different pictures. Mom is trying to get us food, the humans, and the fish. Mom is trying to get us food. So what do you think of this? Like, would this constitute any karma? What is this based on? Like, is there anything that you would like to share with us? So somebody sent this to me today to see whether we can have a perspective. Anyone?
So it depends on the intelligence. Obviously, the fish cannot think because they're going with their primitive, um, pre-programmed primitive animal instinct, whereas the human can think wisely that if I do this, violating the first precept, panatipata varamanisika patang samadhiyami, that I will probably gonna be reborn in the next life as a fish, and then someone's gonna eat me. And so that's the big difference between the animal underneath the water and the human, is that we have the ability to think wisely, rationally, kindly, and find other alternatives. I mean, that woman can go and start picking vegetables and become vegetarian that day.
Is there anyone else who would like to share any perspective regarding that picture?
Normally, it's like not only human or fish. When it comes to karma,
Yeah.
so you all are in the same circle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one of the important thing. And another thing in Abhidhamma, it mentioned, Venerable Sir, I want to give here because it is regarding the karma.
Yeah.
It is regarding the karma.
Yeah.
Anupada karma nirodha. So
Yeah.
the Anupada karma nirodha means the people in the present moment, if we have the wisdom, we have the ability to change whatever the future, whatever going to happen. So that's why as Venerable Tujao mentioned that the karma, never forget your address. But if you practice kala, upadi, gati, prayoga, so that means if you develop your wisdom, you are capable to change your address. So that is what called the anupada karma nirodha. So you are not bound to your past. You have the great opportunity in the present moment to take a conscious decision and change whatever in the future waiting for you.
And I think also when we realize nirvana, right?
Yes.
And of course, karma has no way to find the address there because nirvana is all about teaching.
That's what happened to the Mara.
Actually, the Mara was trying to. There's a beautiful stories like that, no? So Buddha actually asked her, "If you like, you find me now." They could not. He said, "I can't see you. I can't find you. Where are you?"
Yeah,
Nanda.
Yeah, the Venerable Godika.
Yeah.
He was, trying to attain arahantship, but he could not. Finally he was discouraged, and he tried to commit suicide, cutting his neck. But same time, he was meditating the Vedananupassana. The feelings, what he got that time, and he attained arahantship, and with together with the death and arahantship. Mara was wondering, wondering to search his chitta or consciousness, where is reborn. So Buddha was pointing to the monks, can you see the dark clouds over there? That is not a dark cloud, that is Mara, is wondering where the Venerable Godika was born.
Yeah.
But he cannot find.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful story, the story of Venerable Godika. And you can actually Google by that name.
That is from Sanyutta Nikaya.
Yes. Nikaya, yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. And Venerable Vasubandhu, you raised your hand. What's in your mind?
Thank you so much. Yes, it has been wonderful that we today have this conversation on karma and responsibility. Because I have learned from each of you how this is our perspectives and our experiences in how these past actions and our present, and we have to look our future. So it has been very important for me to join you today. I want to thank you for your invitation, Bante Saranapala and Venerable Tridao. It's wonderful to be here and to listen these wonderful experiences and unique wisdom. I think that something that I I always learning is the diverse experiences because it's a personal reflection. So it's beautiful to be alive because we have the opportunity to, after this conversation, to experience by ourselves how is the karma in our own lives. So it is an opportunity for us to learning also by experiencing. As you mentioned, Venerable Bhante Saranapala, to contemplate, to have a mindful reflection, a self-reflection. As you always mention, to live with kindness. So I really appreciate our Sangha, our support, to be a companion of this path, of the path of the Dharma. And thank you so much, Venerable Tridao, for always teaching me and be with me, supporting me. Thank you so much.
Venerable Vasubandhu. So, thank you. And now there is a question in the chat platform. Venerable Arya Sangha Mitta from Malaysia is asking a question. The dear Bhante, now Buddha, I have a question. Some people rebirth immediately after death or within the 7 days. How effective it is of the merits family done during this period of 7 days to transfer to him in compared to the karma, good or bad, that he has done in his whole life. So, is there any venerable who would like to say something or answer this question?
Actually, Venerable Sir, that in Buddhist culture, actually, Venerable Sir, that in Buddhist culture, there are few ideas about it. So one is there is one argument going when someone die in that very moment without any gap, that consciousness going to find another place.
Mm-hmm.
So another concept is when someone die, maybe the other place is not available yet. So then that consciousness going to stay in another way somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So at that period of time, this transition, or maybe some say 7 days, and then some say 3 months and 1 year, and some says it can be made more than 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, according to the Tilokutta and the Girikanda Suttas, what the Buddha mentioned, there are some lower existence.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when we die, maybe to go into a higher place, we have no enough merits. So because of that, we have to stay in a lower existence. So if the person take place in that lower existence, that person can get the merits that whatever we transfer behalf of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise, if the person right away born in a kind of like a higher place, maybe that then that consciousness no need merit.
Mm.
So then what will happen? That whatever the meritorious activities we do here, so it will help for us to reduce our greed, hatred, and the delusion. And at the same time, it gives the very good lesson for us to how to live in a kind of like in a good way.
Mm.
So that's why there are many ideas and there are many concepts, but somehow that according to the Buddha's teaching, it never say it's always going to go to the person can take the merits. No, there are certain places. So in case if that person born in that place, then and other thing is if the person willing to take the merits, so then they can take it.
Yeah.
So otherwise, even in the conventional world, sometimes if we are not willing to get anything, even other person offer it, we're not going to receive it, right? So like that, there are many ideas about it, but somehow the good thing is it gives for us to give the opportunity for us to understand about this and practice good. And especially when it comes to funeral service and the dana ceremonies and marriage ceremonies, it is a greater benefit for us in a certain way. Because now everybody always busy with these machines and technology, gadgetics and everything. And sometimes as a family, sometimes it is very rare now, they have one meal together, right? That everybody separate, they become so comfortable with their own plate and phone. So
Thank you, Bante.
This give a good opportunity for, in a conventional level, for us to behalf of whoever passed away. Another thing, it will help us to remind that person, whatever that person done the good things, and appreciating and paying our gratitude. So it give a lesson to our younger generation to learn, because otherwise these kind of things maybe they cannot learn through the books. It has many other benefits, just not only the transferring merit side.
Thank you, Bante. Bante, may I ask? Bante, it's interesting that just now you talk about when someone wants to getting rebirth in a certain realm, if there's no space, right? No space yet, for example.
Yeah, there's example like kind of like what is the name called that leeches?
Leech.
Leech. So how the leech that move forward when it go and catch one place and release other. So like that, the consciousness never stay in an empty space. The consciousness always take a place. So that is one thing that when it come to death and birth, because even we get a lower existence, lower place, that also another existence. Maybe that's not the right place that person looking for, but it is still another consciousness. So that means the consciousness never stay in the empty space. It's always take a place. Maybe that is not the place, the karma exactly. There is another place waiting for. Just imagine it like this. So when somebody die, that person has a greater merit to become a human being. So that person has a strong wish to become a human being in a certain mother's womb. So if the mother's womb is not available, so then what happens? That person need to stay in another place. That consciousness needs to stay in another place. So according to the whatever that is karma. So until that mother's womb available. So that doesn't mean that it is an empty place. No, it is another existence. But maybe that is not the exactly right place. That person.
So but when the mother womb is not available, is it due to karma, or what is the cause here when you're talking about this?
Sorry?
When you talk about the mother womb not available, so this is caused by karma, or by what reason? Why people want to take rebirth and something not available then?
No, the thing is this. Sometimes when we have the wish itself, so to fulfill the wish, that it need the other part also. So sometimes that part is not available, even though we have karma. So that doesn't mean that everything going to work according to that our karma, because then it's kind of like my karma dominate that everything. No, it need to come together. So then from the mother side also, the need some kind of availability to fulfill my karma. So that's why even though I wish that it's for a certain level, it has ability to take me to certain level, but that doesn't mean it's going to fulfill everything. That's why it say, learn to give a chance to other people. Because that's why we always appreciate the mother and father. Why? Just imagine, if the mother and father say no to us, how we can come here like this? Even though we have good karma to become a human, just imagine, that karma doesn't have power to to overtake mother or the father's consciousness. So that karma need to merge with the mother's and father's consciousness, not to overtake. So then the mother and father had the wish. If the mother and father had the wish to have, we may have a good child. So then whoever born, and if that person have the good karma, and that wish going to fulfill with that, because that's why this side have the karma, then other side also have the request.
So the condition need to be there.
That's right.
Right
Yes.
condition.
Yes.
So thank you so much for asking such wonderful questions. I wish we can continue with, but time has passed. So I'm very glad that this discussion. But time has passed. So I'm very glad that this discussion. Glad that this discussion on the karma and responsibility was very meaningful and very fruitful discussion, and many things came into light actually. So that's why we monks and everybody is encouraged to do this reflection. One of the 5 daily reflections is we are the owners of our own karma, so we are responsible for whatever we do, good or bad. So be mindful of our daily activities, whether this action is based on the ignorance, greed, craving, anger, or desire, or whether it is rooted in wisdom, non-anger, non-hatred, etc., etc. And then we know what to do next, whether to activate that particular intention into action or not. So, but if we choose to activate the intention into action, then we had to take the responsibility. So that's what we are learning. Then we had to take the responsibility. So that's what we are learning from this sutra. And of course, Buddha said there are a lot of consequences. Whatever we do, be mindful for the fact that there will be consequences of all actions. So with this in mind, now I would like to respectfully invite Bhante Nanda to recite the Ovada Patma verses for us today.
Many blessings to you all. Sabba papas akaranang kusalas upasampada Sachit pariyodapanang etang buddhan sasanang kanti paramang tapotitikha nibbanang paramang vadanti buddha nahi pabbajito parupagati na samano hoti parang vihetayang to anupavado anupagato patimokke sangvaro mattanyutaca bhattasmin pantanca sayanasanang adhicitteca ayogo etang buddhana sasanang
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante Nanda, for beautifully reciting the Vada Bhattimaka verses for us today, and much merit to you. And I'm truly, truly grateful to all the venerable monks and nuns and our Dhamma friends for joining our 95th biweekly Sutta discussion. And I feel very glad for being able to run these bi-weekly sutra discussions for the greater benefit of all. And our venerable monks and nuns actually shedding a great light and bringing more awareness of the teachings for the greater well-being of everyone. So this is such a good karma we all perform collectively. May this good karma bring everyone all happiness. May all the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha continue to be with all of you for your health and wellness. May Devas, celestial beings, continue to protect and guard all of you with the divine blessings for your health and safety. Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta. May all sentient beings be well, happy, and peaceful. With this loving thought in mind, I would like to conclude today's 95th bi-weekly Sutta discussion. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks' time for our 96th Dhamma discussion. Until then, stay well and good night from Toronto, Canada. Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being so patient. So when I'm in the middle of these bi-weeklies, I can't really interrupt. What does your GPS say? But yes, to the one opinionated, that's so funny. But yeah, so the when you asked me about that guy, the man who tried to commit suicide by cutting his own throat, if he succeeded, would he be reborn? Absolutely. It was in the middle of him cutting himself that he had a change of mind that he, I think, reflected on the teachings of the Buddha, and that was what made him became an arahant. That story was uttered by Yuta Tamo Bhikkhu. You can find him on YouTube. So I got to run, folks. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, being wonderful listeners. I had a very long day in this very chair, working with attorneys. So, so I'm glad that. And then obviously I forgot a lot of things, and special thanks to my assistant Stephen, who took over a probation case that I was supposed to be there with the probation officer, with the client. So my goodness, wonderful assistant that comes to the rescue on days like these. I almost forgot today bi-weekly too. I'm getting old. So may you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. If you missed the previous 2 videos on my YouTube, I invite you all to go back to the podcast. So 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes to get to where I need to go right now. Take care, folks. Do.